Alrighty guys, Chippy12 here with episode 8 of Card Week, and today I will be going over a sealed deck pulled randomly from my cube. So these are 90 cards, just pulled from my cube randomly. And usually I do drafts with my cube, but I decided just to do this so you guys could see a bit of the deck building process that I go through, and just a few more cards from my cube. Let me know if you guys have any recommendations or just requests for videos you would like to see about Cube in the future, because I have quite a few people who are watching these who are starting Cube and are interested. So yeah, just let me know. Starting with the colored cards, there's obviously quite a bit more blue than anything. Least of it is pretty much black and red. So we'll start at white. Looks like we got some pretty good creatures with Isamaru, Elite Vanguard. Thalia is pretty interesting depending on if you're playing spells or not, but our white looks pretty creature heavy. Silverblade Paladin also. And Amiron Crusader is pretty nice, as well as Blade Splicer. O-Ring is good removal, of course. Spectral Procession gets some flyers in. Some Blast Angel for some removal, mass removal, and Sun Titan's pretty nice because we also got quite a few little creatures, 3 or less mana cost. So white is a pretty strong possibility there because we have quite a bit of it also. And next we move on to blue, which we have the most of. Blue looks like a color I'll definitely be going with because there's a ton of insane control. Starting off with counter spells, of course, we have Daze and Force of Will. I already make it insane. You also see a mana drain there and a mana leak. We have Merfolk Looter, help us get some good cards. Search for Knowledge, help us draw some. Aether Adept and Manowar both help us bounce creatures back to their hands. Clone lets us copy into their creatures. Venser is just ridiculous, so this is probably the best blue creature in Cube. Control Magic, take any of their creatures. Jace for mill. And then Upheaval if you want to just reset the board. For black, we don't have very much, but it doesn't look all that bad either. We've got Duress to remove cards from the hand. Lacerator, pretty aggro. Animate Dead, good graveyard recursion. Bitter Blossom, also good aggro, get a lot of 1/1 flyers out. Bone Shredder and Necrotal, pretty good direct removal. Braids works well with the Reanimator as well, and Living Death. And then Sorin's also pretty solid. In red, which we don't have very much of either, we have quite a bit of good aggro. Lightning Bolt for removal, Goblin Guide, Grim Lavamancer, Ash Zealot, and Chandra's Phoenix back there. You can't really see. All really good aggro there. Probably not enough to build anything out of, just because you're going to want to have enough aggro spread out throughout your deck. And we have about 5 creatures, although Sulfuric Vortex does work well with it. And Chandra's also pretty sweet. For green, we have Birds of Paradise and Llanowar Elves for ramp. Life from the Loam back there. Sylvan Library is pretty good to get your hand set up. Troll Ascetic and Great Stable Sag are pretty good. Some pretty good solid mid-range creatures there. Nantuko Vigilante, also destroying their artifacts and enchantments, especially if they have any swords or anything like that. Garruk Wild Speaker is just awesome. Help you get your land really going. A Wicker Bow Elder also gets rid of enchantments or artifacts, and 2 pretty solid higher costed creatures with Acidic Slime also removing stuff, and then Wolfear Silverheart pumping one of your creatures. You could also take a look at the multicolor here. Sorin's pretty sweet. Charm, not something you want to build around obviously. Deathrite Shaman's pretty awesome. Have Forbidden Alchemy and a Tezzeret. Fire and Ice could go in a red or blue deck as well. Dreadbore is some pretty awesome removal also. And Venser if we're going with bounce. A Figure of Destiny, that's actually another red aggro card we could throw in if we want to go there. And Domir Raid also works pretty well with aggro, I suppose. For our lands, Strip Mine and Evolving Wilds. Evolving Wilds we probably won't need to play unless we're doing maybe 3, probably play it with 4 colors. Strip Mine's pretty sweet, especially with red if you're playing aggro, because then you just destroy their land and then you have a ton of creatures out and they can't play any of their big creatures. And then we have like the, of course, dual lands or fetch lands. Got the man land for red-black there also. And Arid Mesa behind the Clifftop Retreat. Red-green man land as well. And Sunpetal Grove. Then take a look at our artifacts. We got Soul Ring. Mortar Pod's pretty sweet. Also fun to play around. Especially if you have something with Death Touch. Perilous Myr. Let me see what's behind the Palladium Myr. We have a Phyrexian Revoker. Pretty good control. So we have 2 swords right off the bat that pretty much builds the deck for us. If only we had the Stoneforge Mystic, that'd be pretty awesome. Thran Dynamo, good for artifact deck, I suppose, because we don't have all that much we'd be playing that needs 3 colorless. Precursor Golem, Karn Silver Golem, Batterskull, also awesome equipment with the Living Weapon, and Gilded Lotus. Also good for getting some land out there. So I'll come back in a minute and I'll decide what kind of deck to build and then I'll show it to you guys. Alright, now I'm going to show you guys the completed deck from my sealed pool as well as some of the thoughts on the cards I picked. So starting off with the mana base, we have Glacial Fortress, Drowned Catacomb, and Strip Mine. Strip Mine is hopefully mostly here to get rid of any Maze of Ith or any other lands like that, maybe man lands or just any lands with abilities that are going to annoy us. Then we have 6 plains, 5 islands, and 3 swamps. Starting off with the white creatures, we have Isamaru, Hound of Khanda, really nice 2/2 for 1. A Knight of the White Orchid to kind of help us get our mana if our opponent's ahead. Blade Splicer, fun with bounce, especially with Venser. Mirran Crusader and Silverblade Paladin, both really nice 3-drop creatures. As well as Sun Titan, because as you can see, so far all our creatures are 3 or under. And then we have O-Ring, of course, because this is a control deck. And we have Merfolk Looter to help us find the cards we're looking for. Willbender to bounce anything they throw at us back at them. A Manowar to return their creatures to their hands, and Venser just to really mess with them. A Force of Will and Mana Drain, of course, 2 of the best counter spells in my cube. As well as the Ice part of Fire and Ice, just tap a creature and draw a card. And then Control Magic to take any of their huge creatures, or Wormcoil Engines, or anything like that. Then we just have a few black cards here. Splash for black, mostly for the removal, because we have Bone Shredder and Necrotal here. Both destroy creatures when they come in, pretty nice. And then of course we have Duress, getting rid of a card in their hand, that would be pretty useful. Then for the artifacts, we have Sword of War and Peace and Sword of Feast and Famine, of course, because they're awesome. And Batterskull. And then ending with the multicolor, we have Sorin Lord of Innistrad and Venser the Sojourner, just because Planeswalkers are pretty much ridiculous in Cube. And these 2 work pretty well with the deck. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you guys have any questions or recommendations for what you want to see in the future. And yeah, thanks for watching. Please comment and subscribe and keep watching for more Magic videos.